Yo, 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 yo. Okay. Look, I thought I was going to be able to react to this immediately after the game, but it was my anniversary, so I had to go celebrate. Okay. I had to go celebrate. I needed to decompress. I needed to listen to what y'all were talking about so I can come back and give my thoughts. But look, y'all, welcome back in to the Be More Show. This is your rapid recap. You know how we do it. 5 minutes or less. We got to talk about this Ravens Chiefs. I would say matchup, but it wasn't much of that. And I'm very frustrated. But look, y'all see it. You know, y'all had we got something a little bit new for y'all. Shout out to my crew. Shout out to my crew. But anyway, look, something a little bit different for y'all. I hope y'all like it. If y'all want a little like recap of a little, I don't know, vlog, is that what we call it? I don't know, little tour of how it all came together, let me know and I'll do something for y'all. But look, y'all, the Ravens. My timer starts now. The Ravens played so bad yesterday. They got people throwing in the towel in week 4, and Lamar Jackson is still the quarterback. The Ravens, a team that I said I trust this defense. I do. Look, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I need to come up with a segment to talk about when I'm wrong and when I'm right. Okay, I really do like when Colin is right, when Colin is wrong. I might do it myself. I might steal it. Don't tell him, but I might steal it. Okay, because I was just giving EDC credit for the depth on this team. The depth on this team for re-signing some guys. This was literally like 3 weeks ago. I gave EDC credit. I said, this dude right here, he's doing it. Now I don't agree with some of my other Ravens content creators out there. The EDC is a huge part of the problem. I'm not saying he isn't a part of the problem. I don't think he's a huge part of the problem, but I'm not gonna stand on that too hard until I get a chance to look into it. But look, I will say this. I am frustrated. I'm frustrated by the whole operation, just like y'all are, right? It starts with John Harbaugh. It don't even start with EDC. It starts with John Harbaugh because he's the leader of the team on the field. EDC, I've always said this before. I feel like EDC does a good job of giving his guys exactly what they want. Just because they can't execute with what they get does not mean that he doesn't do a good job of giving them what they want. I'm not saying he's perfect at it. I'm not saying he's even good at it, but he gives them what they want. Greg Roman got a bunch of tight ends. Nothing wrong with that, right? Greg Roman got a bunch of tight ends. That's what he wanted. That's what he got. That's why we got Isaiah Likely. That's why we got Charlie Kolar. That's why we got Mark Andrews. For that reason exactly, right? Wasn't the best receivers, but he did put some receivers out there. It's not EDC's fault that Greg Roman didn't use them. Todd Monken uses them a little bit more. That's why we see DeAndre Hopkins actually getting usage. But nonetheless, let's get into the game. 37-20. Because I'm starting my timer over. I'm cheating. I'm starting my timer over because I'm too busy talking about EDC, not talking about the game. Look, 37-20. Absolute domination. And not in the way that us Ravens fans like it, okay? Absolute domination by the Kansas City Chiefs. By a team that we felt like has been our kryptonite for years. And I said it during the preview with Justin. Shout out to the Juggernaut Show for the Kingdom Podcast. I said it, and I'm gonna have him on, and not too long from now, probably tomorrow, to talk a little bit more about this. But I said, hey, this isn't the most talented Chiefs team in the world. This is the perfect time for the Ravens to show that they are a great team. And the Ravens showed about what they always show. But this is the problem. Number one, they can't beat the Chiefs. No, it don't matter if it's the regular season or the playoffs. Number two, this is a playoff style loss in the regular season. The Lions is a playoff style loss in the regular season. The Bills is a playoff style loss in the regular season. The problem with that is typically the Ravens give you a little bit of hope by dominating everybody they play. NFC, no question. There's no question about it except for the Giants that 1 year. No question about it. Everybody else, top teams in the AFC, dominant, okay? Completely dominant. This year, not so much. The Bills, dominant in the first half, nothing else. The Lions, absolutely awful. The Chiefs, absolutely awful. Like, I think I heard people turning this game off in the second quarter. It was so bad, horrible. Horrible. Effort wasn't there. Defense can't stop anybody. And I told y'all this during the preview. I hope y'all listened to me. If y'all didn't, I'm going to tell y'all again. If the Ravens offense doesn't play perfectly, this defense can't stop anybody. This defense couldn't stop me, Hendo, the Lunch Break Hot Take crew, and Graven Vids, and Raven C. If they put us on the offense, this defense couldn't stop it. That's how much faith I got in this defense. They can't stop me. And I ain't even shredded yet. They can't stop me. It's awful. Look, man, I'm beyond frustrated with this team. I want to dive more into this game, especially when I talk with Justin. But my knee-jerk reaction, and that's why I like to do it this way, my knee-jerk reaction, my emotional reaction is just pure frustration. The same frustration I had during the Lions game, I have at times too in this game, because you expect to bounce back. Right? You expect to bounce back. You expect this defense to figure it out. I said it before. I got the utmost confidence in this defense. I was wrong. I was wrong. This defense is awful. They are terrible. Maybe that's another uncomfortable truth. This defense is awful, bad, terrible. Can't stop anybody. They couldn't do it last year. They can't do it this year, and it ain't getting any worse. Something's got to change. And this is the good part about it. Let's talk about the silver lining to losing a game like this. This is typically, now it hasn't helped us in the playoffs. I know, I get that. But these are the losses that typically define a Ravens season, right? You have a horrible loss, tends to be to the Browns, this time to the Chiefs. This is when the Ravens tend to make a move. They tend to do, make some adjustments, maybe make a coaching adjustment, and they start to go on a run. Now, here's the thing, and this is my silver lining. It's probably not nobody else's. The first part of the schedule for the Ravens this season was brutal. These first 4 games, brutal. Bills, Browns, which is in your division. I talked about it before. It could be a slip-up game. Bills, Browns, Chiefs, Lions, juggernaut schedule. At least 3 playoff teams right there. And the jury's still out on the Browns on what they're going to do. They probably won't make the playoffs, but you never know. It's still AFC North opponent. The rest of the games of this season, now, with this team and the way they're playing right now and the effort they're giving, I mean, nothing's a shoe-in by no means, right? The practically identical Houston Texans is not a shoe-in either. So, it's just crazy, right? It's just crazy to think, man. It feels like this team has fallen from grace. It's funny. My wife asked me, she said, you think the Ravens window is closed? Do you think they hit their prime a couple? No, she said last year. I said, if I'm going to be honest, it's possible that they hit their prime 2 years ago when they were in the AFC Championship game, right? It's possible that they hit their prime, especially with this iteration of guys. And I'm not talking about the talent. That's the problem. I'm talking about the coaching staff. With this iteration of guys, it's possible, specifically John Harbaugh, with the John Harbaugh, Lamar Jackson combination, it's possible that the Ravens hit their prime in 2019 with that MVP season. Even though last year I know it was record-breaking. I know it was. Look, 86 goes hanging out. Look, couldn't have faith in Harbs on this in case you are listening. Look, he said I couldn't have faith in Harbs on this. Look, I mean, I agree. And that's why I even said it in the preview with Justin. I said, hey, I said it then, I said it time and time again. The Ravens going to have to win in spite of John Harbaugh because John Harbaugh is not going anywhere, right? John Harbaugh is not going anywhere. That's the problem. John Harbaugh would have to lose out the rest of this season to even be considered to be fired. And I still don't know if they fire him. Because you can lean on the excuse of injuries because you got a bunch of starters. I mean, you got a bunch of guys injured. You can lean on that. So I don't honestly, it would be really hard to justify firing Harbaugh, not from a fan's perspective, but more so because there's built-in excuses now. There's even more excuses now. The D-line is hurt. Your corners are hurt. Your quarterback just got hurt. Right? And that's another thing. And he's throwing everybody under the bus. Look, I still got to listen to the presser. I did hear some things. I didn't get a chance to listen to all of it, but I did hear some things. And I know I did hear him talking about Nnamdi Madubuike and how he's out for the season, which is a big hit considering that this is a team that can't stop the run. But I did hear too that he was talking about how he didn't like some of the play calling. Now, this is the thing, and this has kind of been my issue with John Harbaugh. This has been my issue with John Harbaugh, right? My issue with John Harbaugh is I never feel like he has control over this team, right? I never feel like he has control over this team. It feels like he is oblivious to everything. You can't be a head coach and be oblivious to everything. I'm all for the special teams guy. I'm all for even the defensive guy in an offensive league. But you cannot be oblivious to everything going on. How do you not know that your guy didn't get but this many carries? This is over and over again. We've been seeing this since 2019 at least. Realistically 2018, because remember how that playoff game went. I know it was Lamar's rookie season, but remember how that playoff game went. You abandoned the run, you abandoned the run, and then he was like, wait a minute, we abandoned the run? Are you not watching the same game we did? You get paid millions of dollars to look at film all the time, to look at film in real time and make adjustments, and you don't do it. Why is it that I can make film adjustments in real time, but you can't? Don't get it. I don't get it. I told you I'm gonna do a video on Harbs. I am gonna do a video on Harbs. I haven't done one yet, but I am gonna do one. It's on the list. I promise y'all it's on the list. EDC is on the list, right? EDC is on the list to talk about. I might even do one on Lamar Jackson, right? Like, not because he's on the list of being cut, because he's not. More so because I want to look more into this. I want to look more into this because I was questioned about it a couple of years ago. Shout out to Hendo. I was questioned about it a couple of years ago, and I still think back to that conversation. I still think back to that question. Why do you like Harp so much? Why? And now I need to figure out how, if I could, even at that time, because I can't even defend it now. But if I could at that time defend it at all, I gotta wonder. I gotta wonder. I gotta ask myself these hard questions. But look, y'all. Last thing, and I'm getting up out of here because I'm getting too emotional. But look, last thing. Don't y'all sit there. And this is not for the flock. This is for everybody else. But some of the flock, y'all get me sometimes. Don't y'all sit there. Don't y'all sit there and tell me the greatest offensive player in the Ravens in the history of the Ravens. Don't y'all sit here and tell me that the greatest offensive player in the history of the Ravens quit on his team. Don't say that. Don't say that. I don't want to hear it. Because you telling me the guy who won MVPs with terrible offensive line, the guy who won the MVP with receivers you couldn't name, receivers I don't even remember anymore, quit on his team. I mean, they tried to say it twice. They tried to say it with the bone bruise back in, what was that, 2023? Was that 2023? 2022. I think it was 2022. They tried to say it with the bone bruise back then. And they're trying to say with this hamstring issue now. Now, he was checked out. Shout out to Warner King's show. He posted it. He said, hey, he was checked out. But at the same time, at that point, you're down 3 scores. You're down 3 scores. Your defense couldn't stop anybody. I already told y'all. Your defense couldn't stop a bunch of us. Your defense couldn't stop anybody. And you expect this offense to bail y'all out again. That's all this offense has done for the past 8 seasons is bail y'all out. Y'all remember when we needed that last stop in the Chargers game? Y'all remember when we needed that last stop in the Titans game? You know, we needed a stop in the Titans game. They couldn't get none of those. Derrick Henry ran all over us. Y'all remember when we needed extra stops in the Bills games? Extra stops in the Chiefs games when, yes, the offense started slow, but remember we got an elite defense, so that shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter if the offense starts slow. This defense is so good, and that's what we put all the money to. We put all our chips into the middle of the table for this defense. So why can't this defense get a stop when you need them to? Including the entirety of yesterday. I don't know how many possessions the Chiefs scored on, but it was absolutely ridiculous. Over and over and over and over and over again. Look, y'all. I'm beyond frustrated. I think I went past my time. All right. I'm beyond frustrated though, y'all. Look, I'm gonna look more into it, and I'm gonna have my guy Justin back on from the For the Kingdom podcast, and we gonna wrap it up because 1-3 for the Baltimore Ravens. I'm not ready to throw in the towel. I'm not. right? I'm not ready to throw in the towel, but I'm never ready to throw in the towel. I'm still sitting here trying to figure out how the Ravens can win a Super Bowl with John Harbaugh. And I know it's a tall task, but I'm still trying to figure it out because I can't sit here. And I told y'all this. Y'all know this. 86 goes knows. Look, I can't sit here and watch the Ravens all season long and know in my heart of hearts that they're not going to win. I can't do it. I can't do it. I told y'all, look, let me get up out of here, but I told y'all this. I guess the process is still going, but I was a Sixers fan during the process. I watched every game as if they were going to win every single game. They had no chances of winning back then. We talking about Evan Turner. We talking about Michael Carter Williams. We talking about an injured Joel Embiid who wasn't even, I mean, this first 2 years of his career wasn't even healthy yet, right? We talking back then when they were bad. They were awful. We talking Ish Smith, Philly, okay? So I can't do it. As a sports fan, I can't do it. Even when I know in my heart of hearts it's going to happen, I can't do it. But, I mean, that's the thing. The Ravens have, I'm not going to say what Kyle Hamilton said, right? That we're spoiled, but we have been fortunate that the Ravens have been so good. We have been fortunate that we've had some generational talents on this team, right? And I mean, besides Lamar Jackson and, Derrick Henry, of course, it's hard to find other guys who fit those roles right now for this team. So, look, y'all, disappointed, frustrated, embarrassed. You know those games where you finish the game and you're like, man, I don't even want to go to work tomorrow because everybody's gonna be on me about what happened. How does this happen? That's how I felt. Because I mean, coming into it, I felt good, right? Coming into it, I felt good. On the bright side, though, and then I'm gonna wrap up. I'm being for real this time. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna wrap up one more time and then wrap up 3 more times. Okay, look. The one positive, y'all know I'm always the positive guy. Don't hold it against me. If the standings didn't matter, which they do, the overall standings. If the Ravens if the Ravens can figure it out and start winning some of these games, right? Like I said, they have an easier schedule coming up than they did to begin the season. So if they could win some of these games that we at least feel like they're supposed to win, they're good in the division right now. So on the bright side, division-wise, they're good. Yes, they're technically third in the division because they're 1-3, right? They're technically third in the division because they're 1-3, but they're 1-0 within the division, tied with Cincinnati. So it'll be interesting, right? It'll be interesting to see how this goes because we're either gonna have a one-team race with Pittsburgh and that's it, or the Ravens gonna have to step up and figure out something. And if it's any MVP that I want on my team that can figure it out, look. Like I said, some changes gotta be made. This offensive line needs to be revamped. I don't care. I mean, the freaking who was it? Was it the Browns? The Browns out here trading for offensive linemen, trying to shore up their line, or is it I think they traded with the Texans. But y'all know what I'm saying. Like mid-season trades aren't gonna hurt. Especially this is the time. This is the time to find those needle mover guys if you can. I'm not saying I trust it, but this is the time to find it if you can. And the Ravens got to do it again. Because Roquan Smith, he was that needle mover back then. Is he a new needle mover now? I'll let y'all answer that. So, find that elite rusher. That's not first on my list. I'm just saying they don't have that guy. So that's part of the problem. Right? Find that elite rusher. Honestly, I keep the defense as it is. If you can give me a couple of guards that can play. If you give me a couple of guards that can play. Where's Zeitler at when you need him? I'm sorry. Zeitler didn't give up any pressures. Zeitler, at least statistically. I know the statistics are skewed, but Zeitler didn't give up any sacks. Find him. Sign him. Trade for him. I don't care. Would I take Roquan Smith as collateral damage and getting an elite offensive lineman? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I like Roquan Smith. I really do. But obviously, Roquan Smith is not playing the same as he usually does. And I would rather have I'd rather have an elite offensive line. I'd rather have an elite offensive line than another receiver or more receivers or anything like that. Right? I think Lamar could cook with a better offensive line, even if it was lesser at receiver. I'm not saying get rid of any receivers. I'm just saying the receivers are good right now. You're good with the receivers, but the protection got to hold up. And every time Lamar tries to escape, the protection doesn't. So, look, I got to get up out of here. Been here for too long. But look, that's what happens. Time flies when you're having fun and hanging out with your people. All right, look, if you haven't already hit the subscribe button, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please hit that subscribe button. I'm coming back at y'all with so much. I'm writing down everything, and I'm gonna try to attack everything. And let me know. Let me know. You got anything you want me to look into or talk about? Let me know. But yeah, I think some changes got to be made. And I know the bye week is not for a while, so you don't really want to wait until then. But I think some changes got to be made, man. Some changes got to be made. Something's got to change if this Ravens team wants to do something. Now, like I said, does Harbaugh get fired mid-season? I don't see it, man. I just don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. I would love to see the Ravens make a tough move and do that, because how can you continue to give the same results over and over and over again? I don't get it. I don't get it. Something's got to change, and that's got to be one of them. That's got to be one of them. But I'm going to look into it, and we're going to talk a little bit more later. Look, hit that subscribe button. Give me a like if you haven't already. If you're on YouTube, if you are on any of the audio podcasting platforms, be sure to favorite the show as well. But look, y'all, I'll see y'all on the next episode of the Be More Show. This has been your rapid, but I guess not so rapid today, recap. Until next time, my friends.